Hey, I'm Paul Monahan, and welcome to the Most Important Game podcast. In this episode, I visit with Shannon Friday. Shannon is a professional teaching pro, works out of Oklahoma City Golf and Country Club, an amazing player, an amazing teacher and coach as well. Shannon plays in the professional touring pro, teaching pro circuit, if you will, plays a lot of great tournaments with a lot of really great players. And in this episode, we get a chance to visit with Shannon and talk about like what it takes to excel at that level in those tournaments where the competition is really high. Shannon had a really terrific 2025, and we talk a little bit about what made that so for him. He actually played through some injury and some other things, but he actually won a couple events, and he actually qualified for a big event coming up in 2026. So we also talk about what is happening for him in 2026. He's got a big event coming up in April, and he talks a little bit about how he'll prepare and what will be important for him as he gets ready to play in that event. A lot of really great lessons for all of us as we visit with Shannon Friday. So here we go. Here's our discussion with Shannon. All right, Shannon Friday. Good to see you, man. How are you?
Good to see you, sir. Great.
Thank you.
Real good so far.
Yeah, so far. Yeah, it's early in Oklahoma City. What's going on? So, it's always interesting to me, Oklahoma. Like, man, it could be 65 and sunny in mid-January, or it can be something much different. What's going on these days?
We've only had maybe 1 or 2 days where it's been really cold, but it's been 60s and 70s. I mean, extremely high, record highs this time of year that haven't been broken in decades, I'm guessing. But yeah, it's been good. A lot of golf. The golf business is really good right now because everybody's playing golf, and golf shops, stores, and everything I'm sure making a ton. Instead of people being locked up in the house, snow on the ground or something. So it's been good.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, what percentage would you say of the membership at your course at Oklahoma City Golf and Country Club, what percentage would you say are kind of snowbird-ish, right? They're going to be in Arizona or in Florida, or name the spot during these months.
Yeah, most of them go California, somewhere in the desert, California or Phoenix, Scottsdale, or whatever. I mean, it's not a huge percentage, but there is a considerable amount of people that go out there and spend the whole winter out there. Usually do Christmas here, and then right after the 1st or 2nd or so of January, they're packing up and heading out there until April, March, somewhere in there where it's going to be warm here. No more cold snaps, but so we won't see a lot of those guys and girls, women, families, or whatever, until for the next 4 months or so. But I don't know, there's probably 20 families or whatever, couples, whatever, that head out. So it's not a huge percentage, but quite a few.
Yeah, I get it, and no doubt. Hey, let's go where the sunshine and the warm weather is guaranteed, right? So, well, cool. Well, I'm super glad you're here. I've been wanting to do this for a while. You and I have known each other for a number of years, and have had a chance to play a little bit together. And I've really I've been kind of following your exploits on the course. I love the work you do, of course, in your coaching and teaching. But I wanted to talk a little bit today about the playing that you do, the competitive play that you do, and dive in a little bit into that. And so talk about 2025 and the season that it was for you, but also talk a little bit about what's coming up in 2026. So let's start there. 2026, anything big happening in 2026 in terms of events?
I qualified. So we have a Club Professionals Championship. It's a national tournament. Like in our section, I guess every other section too, will qualify the year before. So in 2025, you qualify for this event that's going to be held in 2026. And this year it's going to be up at Bandon Dunes up in Oregon in April.
Heard of it.
Yeah, kind of pretty popular for some people. I've never been up there, but here it's great and tough. So that's the big thing that's on my radar for this coming year, as well as the other tournaments I get to play in, but that's the big one. There is I think there's around 320, 322 or 325, somewhere in there, 322 players from around the country. Best club professional players in the country qualify regionally to go to nationals, and it's a cool event. We got to play in it like this might be my 8th or 9th time to play in it, but it's something I always look forward to. It's hard, very hard to do.
It's hard. Yeah.
Hard
Okay.
to play it.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Well, I want to talk about what makes it hard. I want to talk about, so that's super cool, right? So I actually saw something the other day where the Bandon lottery, I think it just completed, if you will. Maybe that's the wrong term, but the lottery for tee times for 2027. I've got to dig into this because I saw this post. Yeah, I saw this post and I'm like, is this real? So, the lottery for tee times during 2027 was just completed, and you got, right. You know what I mean? So like, talk about, imagine creating a business where like you're booked through the next 2 years, like guaranteed.
And I'm sure it's just like Pebble Beach, rain or shine, doesn't matter what the weather conditions are, you're playing golf. That would be I think a pretty good business to have. It'd be kind of crazy not to.
Yeah. I mean, the whole Bandon story, right? I mean, you just got to love it, right? Like if you build it, they will come. Like everyone was like, no, don't build this. What? In the middle of where? Like, no one's going there. Wrong.
Yeah, there's no easy way to get there. From what I've heard, a couple hours, like 2-hour drive, no matter what airport you fly into. Yeah. So it's a destination for sure. You're not just going to pop in. It doesn't sound like.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, it's, I mean, yeah, I think in terms of like on the bucket list for a lot of players, right? This, Bandon, the whole property there just is absolutely, it's just really skyrocketed to that number one spot. I think everybody talks about getting out there and with good reason. So I do want to talk about how you prepare for that, but I want to talk about the 2025 season because it seems to me like you had a really solid season, and I want to learn more about, all right, what made it so as you reflect back. I think it's still the time of year. We're in early January as we record this, still the time of year where we can actually look back and reflect on 2025 and say, all right, what worked, what didn't. So what worked for you in 2025?
So this time of the year, just like you mentioned, this time of the year is when I look at all my statistics. I track every round that I play, and I have pretty much my entire life since I was in high school, definitely since college. Tracked a little bit of stuff in high school. I didn't know how to quantify it or what it really meant. Didn't know how to practice all these statistics that I kept. But in college, and then once got into the golf business or whatever, started tracking a little bit more, but got all that data. And last year, had a good year last year in 2024, pretty good year. But just statistically in January, I start looking back at all that, the old past data to see how I can improve for the next year. And what I saw in 2024 to prep me for 2025 was, it was actually pretty dumb. Short game needed to be better. Wedge play needed to be a little bit better. But a big thing was hitting greens and what side of the fairway that I needed to be on, what side of the rough, and also side of the fairway allowed me to hit more greens. And I wasn't hitting, I forgot what the number was last year, but it was like 22% of the time if I was in the right rough that I would hit the green, as opposed to like 80% from the left rough. So I'd never thought of it until I start looking at the number, like, crying out loud, I cannot miss right. I normally hit just a little bit of a draw. Mm-hmm. And so coming in from the right side just can't hit great, or it doesn't set up good for me. It doesn't appeal to my eye or whatever.
Oh, that's interesting.
So that was one thing that was really hard to actually kind of suck up or whatever. And just like, so now in 2025, I didn't hit near as many fairways this past year. And that's usually a strong suit. Just aim down the middle, hit it, and go just hit a lot of fairways and play, pretty good. I missed a lot more fairways than normal this year, and they were all in left rough or left side of the fairway, but I did hit more greens. Scoring didn't really translate that much, but that was not hitting fairways also cost me some shots. You just can't hit it as close or be as aggressive or hold greens or whatever from the rough. But I stuck to the game plan all year long. No matter how bad it sucked, I would aim center or left center the whole setup for it at all, and not intentionally trying to hit in the rough, just trying to keep it the left side of the fairway to allow for my natural shot shape to come into the greens. Overall, it worked, I think, pretty good. I did have a pretty good year this year, but it was actually challenging this year. Oh gosh, when was that? That was it was the Monday after Father's Day. So that'd have been in June. I was playing a little 4-person scramble. One of my good college friends asked me to play, and he goes, "Hey, we need a fourth. Can you play?" Sure, go play. By far the best ball striking that I've had in years. Could not have missed a shot that day until we had like 4 or 5 holes left, and I stepped out of the cart on this par 3 and locked up. My hip locked up, and I couldn't move. Went down and kind of hobbled back to the cart.
Oh, you kind of tumbled a little bit.
Just like, and of course, something came out. And then the guys were like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, I don't know. And our team captain or whatever, the girl that kind of sponsored our team, she's a chiropractor. And so I had no idea what was going on. I've had back injuries before. I had a pinched nerve a couple of years ago on the other side of my body, on the left hip, which was a big ordeal. I was like in 2022 or something like that, or 23, something like that. That sidelined me for months. Same pain, almost. But she kind of came over, kind of had me stretch out a little bit, but I was done. Couldn't play the last 3 or 4 holes. Now I'm scared. So I'm like, shoot, screwed something up again.
Oh, yeah.
But went to, had some tests done and so forth, kind of got that fixed. Still recurring. It's just, old body just kind of doesn't work very good sometimes. So that was a challenge in June. And then in August, I broke a toe on my right foot. Dropped a TrackMan, little orange box, about 15 or 20 pounds or whatever. Slipped out of my hand at the end of the day and broke on my toes. So those 2 things right there, even though overall a really good season, those kept me out of several tournaments, a couple good ones, and then just walking alone, because it was on my right foot, the broken toe, has made practicing, hitting, all that kind of stuff, just walking in general, difficult. But then I had, because of that, my hip focused more on short game, and my chipping wedge shots or whatever from like 40 yards. Those were the things I needed to work on anyway. So it actually worked out really good. It's kind of a blessing in disguise almost. Now that I look back at it, I was mad at the time, but looking back, it's actually might have worked out better for me to have those kind of injuries at that time, because I could no longer take a bunch of full swings, hit a bunch of balls or anything. Not that I'm a ball beater anyway, but I couldn't play either. Just had to teach, and then, like in the evenings or whatever, if I had a few minutes, I'd just go hit some pitch shots or whatever and just chip around and putt, because that didn't hurt anything. Didn't hurt my back or my foot. So
and you said it was your right foot, so your trail side, and then it wasn't the Sergeant Hoka, wasn't the big toe, was it?
No, the middle toe on my right foot. I mean, TrackMan, it's a big box. I mean, if everybody's ever seen them, they're orange or whatever, but slipped out. The corner of the TrackMan landed right on one of the joints of my middle toe on my right foot. Dang. And just shattered it.
So were you like barefoot or like without shoes or with shoes even?
I had shoes on. Like I teach in tennis shoes.
Oh, okay. So
I stand like up 8-10 hours a day. And I had 3 kids in there that are two two or three kids in there that day, young ones or whatever. And I mean, I hope I didn't say anything bad, but it hurt so stinking bad. And I was kind of hopping around.
I'll check in with Cooper.
It wasn't Cooper. He would have been cool with it. But these were kind of some new kids, and they're like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "I think I broke my toe." And they're like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Well, pretty sure." But it actually felt like the bone was coming out of the bottom of my foot. It felt really weird.
Oh,
but it wasn't. It was just, I don't know what it was. But it was already swelling up. So, but that was just a bad break. Never dropped it. Those units are $25,000. I mean, those are expensive pieces of equipment.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't break it. So I had that going for me. Broke a toe, but didn't break that sucker.
Yeah, I'm sure they over-engineer the boxes.
Yes.
For
idiots like me.
Protect that. Yeah. No, we breaking this stuff all the time. But so 2025 year, great year. I'm always I'm working in my world in the mental game space, right? In fact, just today I'm actually releasing. I'll make sure I get you a copy of this. It's my mental game inventory workbook.
Oh, okay.
Right, and it's really designed to help players go back in a formatted way and really explore like what are the mental game dynamics that work well for them and what are the ones where maybe there's opportunities in 2026, right?
Gotcha.
So and when I started putting this together, it was really important for me that I help the player to first and foremost connect to like the really great moments, the amazing moments, right? I see this all the time. Like whenever you talk to players, they're like, "Oh, I stink at this." They always want to go to the negative, right?
Yeah.
And we have this negativity bias. It's just part of how we're wired. It's normal, right? But anyway, you get this all, right? So my question then to you is, all right, I want you to think back to 2025. Like what were some of your most amazing moments, maybe an amazing shot, maybe even an amazing round that you can think of competitively?
So our last term of the year, our Players Championship, my next to last hole, and I hadn't been playing good that day, just, one of those deals. And we were just a twosome, and one of my good friends, we were playing, Austin Peters, playing together. We were just having a good time. He's just so easy to get along with and just play around. 17th hole, a little par three, kind of a little setup here. Not super long, but just good little par three. Kind of the only way to get it close is to land it on the right side of the green and kind of let it feed down. If you miss it, pull it just a hair left, bunker that's about 2 feet wide, and then a ravine, canyon. And somehow hit it perfect. I mean, it was one of the best, most solid shots I hit all day. Again, didn't hit anything good all day. Nothing. Mm-hmm. Hit that sucker, and I was like, oh, man, it looks pretty good. Lands just on the right side of the green, starts trickling down. I'm like, man, that's going to get really close. And went in, and he was way more excited than I was. I'm still pumped. I was kind of hooting and hollering.
Yeah.
But he yelled so stinking loud, and we're on top of we've got to be 100, 200 feet up in the air on this cliff. And He yelled so loud that everyone heard. There was no doubt.
Like echoes in the canyon or whatever.
Came up and gave me a big old bear hug, and just we're both jumping around. So, but that was my 10th hole in one. But just a very special one. Just, again, wasn't playing good or anything, but finally hit a good shot, solid shot, and then it actually paid off and went in. But that was
that's so cool.
By far the most memorable shot that I had. But it was just a couple months ago.
Nice.
But just there were quite a few. There were I had a couple wins this year. I think 3. I think I won 3 tournaments this year. But a lot of those came down to like the last hole, having to make just a par putt or whatever it is, or hit a good shot on the last couple holes. So those were kind of instrumental. Just being able to stay in the moment, not get negative, not like, oh shoot, don't hit a bad shot here. Just stick to the plan. And I will credit you on a lot of these things. Some of it I forget to do, so I'll take blame for that. But I was at an AI school with you a few years ago down in Florida.
Yep.
maybe
At
3 or
Eagle
4 years.
Creek.
Maybe.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And we were working on, I was having some problems with some wedge shots. And so just talking through some negative stuff. And one of the key phrases or like the anchors or whatever that you and I came up with was high finish. Probably doesn't mean anything to anybody else, but for me, when I think high finish, then my body comes into a different position, hands go up like they're supposed to and everything. And almost every tournament that I played in this year that I played very well, especially those last few holes or whatever, I would usually think like the last shot finished high hands, something like that. So I can actually credit a lot of that back to you just for something that we did, some work that we did years ago, just a little phrase. I don't think about it every time. And it might not work. I don't know whether that would work every time on every shot that I ever hit. I don't think it probably would.
Sure.
But because I want to wear it out. But those crucial moments, just those little wedge shots, those full swings, whatever, if I think to myself before I hit, right over as I'm over it, just, high hands, finish high. Not every time, but most of the time, those turn out pretty good. So
Yeah.
those are,
love that.
and then some of those, when I don't think about it, as soon as I hit the ball and I hit it bad, I'm like, gosh dang it, I didn't I wasn't thinking that. So that's
it's crazy, by the way, how we, look, we swim in these waters and we have the knowledge, like we have the information, and then we just simply forget to use it. Like you would think it would be like automatic,
Sure.
And I think that's one of the challenges in the game, especially in the mental game, is that I'd be curious to get your take on this. Like I have this running theory now that one of the reasons why the inside game, the mental game, is such a challenge for people to gain or elevate their skills in is that there's two things going on in golf. One is the outside game and one is the inside game. So the outside game is the thing in front of us. There's a club and a ball and all the things we can see and put our hands on and touch and then get mechanical with, right. My left thumb needs to be here. My trail foot needs to be whatever. So these are all the things we spend time on because we can see and feel and touch those. But because we can't see and feel and touch a thought, and we have no framework for understanding all of that, well, it's just sort of like, well, some days
kind of wing it.
I'm an idiot out there and other days I'm not, it's a little bit like that. So curious to get your thoughts on my theory.
Definitely. Cause for me, the more I play, the more I'm aware of what to think, it's almost like just running on autopilot. If I get to play several days in a row, usually by that second or third day, fourth day or whatever, things are starting to click and I'm kind of back in my element and just like, shoot, I know how to do this. And to me, it's really like running on autopilot. But if I haven't played in several weeks or go out and I haven't practiced in a week or two, when I go out, I have no idea what I'm doing. Just like I'm out there just exercising or something. And I would imagine that most people out there, especially most golfers, would be in that same boat. They work technically on their swing, but as far as anything mental, positive attitude, try not to think about the negative stuff, just anything internal that your brain, without anybody else seeing. No, I'm sure no one ever they wouldn't practice that. How would they? There's
right.
Like when I was in college, there was a guy, and I name dropped him years ago, and I, for whatever reason, got on to me. So I could never name drop this guy again. I don't know whether he's wanted or something, but he's just kind of one of those characters you just kind of don't talk, don't ever say his name.
Oh, wait, you name dropped him and he said, don't drop my name?
It made the newspaper, the Daily Oklahoman. Like I credited him for
crazy.
For some of these like tournaments I was winning in college. And he goes, man, I appreciate it, but can you just not do that again? I'm like, seriously?
Oh,
and he was dead serious. I'm like,
yeah.
Okay.
All
just
right.
a different guy. So like I said, I don't know whether he's under witness protection. I have no idea. I know,
Yeah,
I know he's in the
exactly.
military,
That's a
but
good
he was
point.
just like, please don't ever. Like, okay, no problem. So I won't say his name, but
Don't have to tell me twice.
don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah, exactly.
But and I haven't seen him in years. But anyway, but he was helping me because I got nervous, and I was just talking to him when I was hitting balls about being nervous, and so he started having me work on some breathing techniques, and just how to relax and kind of calm myself, kill the adrenaline, and so forth. And so just that right there, to me, that was kind of going along maybe the lines you're on. Some physical, but some mental too, because I was actually practicing that on the range, just how to breathe without hitting the ball, practicing how to breathe and slow my heart rate down, just calm everything, kill the butterflies or whatever. So, but yeah, I just don't think that no one I talk to, I mean, people like my students or whatever, they get nervous on number one tee box, they'll top it or whatever. And like, how in the world do you guys, why are you so amped up? But I'm nervous too, but I've learned over the years how to kind of, I don't know what's hit good shots, but how to kind of kill some of those nerves. And then I try to, walk them through those, steps and kind of, okay, let's not worry about that. It's just one hole. It's just a shot. You've hit thousands of balls with me, millions of balls with me. All you got to do is just hit one decent one, just get it airborne, make a decent swing, and the ball's gone, and then you're going to have a great round. But they put so much importance on that first tee shot, and then if they hit it bad, they screws their whole round up. But I think I definitely would say people could benefit from some type of mental work. Whether it's with you, whatever, read a book, something to help them, just
read a book.
Focus not so much on, physical stuff, but more on just the mind itself.
Yeah.
So
I agree. You're right. And I think again, part of it, I think, is this, and this revelation for me is like, wait a second, most players, I would say many players, I'll correct myself. Many players have a pretty good framework that helps them to move through the outside skill development. Now, many do not, and that's the problem. That's one of their challenges, right? They until they come to Shannon Friday, and Shannon says, "Hey, this is the way you need to think about putting." Now they have a putting framework, right? But they don't have a mental game framework. So their buddy says, "Hey, you just got to get out of your way, get out of your own way." Well, okay.
What's that mean? What's that mean to him?
It makes
sense to you, makes sense to me, makes sense to his buddy, but
right.
How does he understand that? And it's the same thing with teaching. Whatever you're teaching somebody, it makes sense to us when we're preaching it or teaching it to them, but you've still got to spin it and put it in their terminology to where they understand it, they can relate to it. Yeah, get out of your own way. Well, I'd love to. Can you explain how? Can you teach me?
Can you give me one idea that would help me do that? You know what I mean? Yeah, I know.
We want the best for everybody, and my job, unfortunately, is just physical. Just teach mechanically, but I still try to incorporate some of the mental stuff, but it's not my area of expertise, and that's why, like with Cooper, Doc Justice's girls, that's why I just send them to you. If you need, I can give you a little bit. 1,000-foot view or whatever. But if you need some help, you just need to, talk to Paul and have him help you. So,
I think it does. It does a lot for people to gain some understanding, and I think that's where I try and approach it this way. I try and say, hey, look, you don't need more information; you need more insights. But you need some information, right? So what I try to give them a framework for, how the brain works, how we function as humans a little bit. I give them some words to use to understand and put labels to the things that come up for them, the interference, the fear, the frustration, the doubt. And then I put them into scenarios so that they can gain the insights. Oh, this is what that is, and this is what I can do to move past it. And once they have that, like they have it forever, So it's kind of interesting. So speaking of interference, I love, as we're talking about 2025 for you, What were some moments that, as you look back, these were real, maybe learning moments? Maybe it was a shot, a moment around where you're like, okay, didn't quite do what I wanted to there, but it was a real learning moment now that I reflect on it.
In this, I mean, good grief, I've been doing this for a long time and I still can't make myself do it, is if I have a negative thought, like on whatever it is, just a shot in general, it doesn't take any time at all just to back off, reset, and get back in there. But virtually, I mean, I can tell you right now, 100% of the time, if I have a negative thought, that gosh dang it, it comes true. Like if I just can't, if there's a pond or something over there or a creek or whatever, and I just can't hang this sucker to the right, pretty much 100% of the time that sucker's going over there. If I just would back off and just reset, I mean, it's already a negative thought. I don't feel quite right. My alignment, I'm just like, oh, shoot, something's not quite right. I'll go ahead and hit it. I've been standing over here for 5 seconds. I'll go ahead and hit this. If I just would step out of it, reset, realign, whatever it is, pick a different club, whatever, try to get just a little more comfortable with it. Rarely do those turn out horrible. They might not always be perfect, but I can tell you right now, 100% of the time, if I feel bad over it, nothing feels right, it is a bad shot. And that's one of those things where I wish I could learn from that and not screw it up again. But unfortunately, I am pretty confident that I'm going to screw it up a couple times this year. But I will do my best to not. And that's just one of those, I've gotten better at it over the years. I still back off, but sometimes I'm hard-headed and just like, I've already wasted enough time. The guys in my group,
I know.
I'm almost telling myself a story.
That's the real pressure, right?
Yeah. I'm almost telling myself a story like these guys are waiting. I'm probably already beaten these guys anyway. All it takes is one good shot. If I hit it up there good, it's not going to take me any time at all to make the putter, to play. But if I hit it in the creek, I've got to take a drop. So it's going to take several more minutes. But I'm just internally telling myself a story that these guys are, watching me, waiting for me. They're, mad that I'm taking too long, instead of just, doesn't matter what they think, because they're probably not even paying attention, knowing those guys. Just step out of it and, give myself a better opportunity to hit a good shot. It's a very frustrating thing, but I realize it, I acknowledge it, and I'm going to try to do better this year, if at all possible.
Yeah,
but that's one of the struggles that I've had. Just I can't do it every time.
Lynn Marriott and P. Nielsen, they call it the hit it anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right. Yeah. It's like, you hit it anyway. Like you're over there and you're like, no, this does
not right.
Good.
I'm going to go ahead and hit it.
I'm going, Yeah, but you're right. It's and it happens in a split second. It's like, oh, these guys are going to be on me. I got to get moving. It's this thing.
And you've talked about that in like when we've been together, like in the schools. They're not. Yeah. They could care less. They could care less. It's just that internal dialogue that I'm, talking to myself about, that it doesn't matter. And chances are it's not true anyway. But I don't know. It's just the struggle's real for me, and I know it's real for everyone else in the world.
Yeah. What I have an idea. I'm curious if you have any ideas on, all right, if let's say, for example, that's the one thing you want to solve in 2026, like what would you do to solve that?
Gosh, it'd be confidence to actually just really just to do it. Have the confidence to actually back out of the shot or whatever it is. I don't really know how I'd work on it. Besides that, is just step back, be more committed to it or whatever. But I don't know. I'm lost on that one.
I know it's a tough one, right? The thing that comes up for me is like, I have this conversation a lot in, I'm gonna put a metaphor on the table for us here. It'll seem like it's not even related, but I think it is, right?
Okay.
So I work a lot in the corporate space, and a lot of the work that I do is I help leaders to show up and lead better, execute better, especially in the moments where there's a little chaos, there's some uncertainty, there's doubt, like all the interference that can come up for us mentally. And so what I typically uncover is in all the sports that we play, we all practice. We practice a lot of different elements of the sport, right? Because we want to elevate our skills. That's our skill development. But in the corporate space, like no leaders don't practice. They don't practice being more present. They don't practice moving past doubt and uncertainty and stepping into something in a new and fresh way. Like they don't practice it. And so sometimes the antidote to the struggle that they're having is, okay, well, what if you just practiced it? They're like, okay, well, where do I practice it? I'm like, you could practice it in the car. You could say what you would have said if you took a moment, take a step back, and then do it differently. And anyway, it becomes revelatory in ways for these leaders who are like, well, we don't practice anything here, you know?
Okay.
So my question for you would be like, all right, what if you practiced pausing, coming back out, resetting, and then stepping back in? I don't know.
That's kind of what I was thinking about as you were talking right there. Just like, how could I do that? And I could do it like if I was hitting ball, practicing or whatever, hitting balls or whatever, just step out. Cause obviously on the driving range, on the practice tee, short game area, wherever we are, we could be lined up bad and still hit it. But I do know that if I don't feel quite right in one of those situations, I do back off. I don't hit the shot because it's like, no, something's not quite right here. I'm going to adjust, look at the camera, video or whatever, and just see what's messed up or what's not quite right. I don't just keep hitting balls if something doesn't feel right, unless I'm working on something. But so it could be just as easy as that. Just even if I'm having a good session, just whatever, just for some point, just step back and reload, run the whole process over again, and get back in and see if I can hit it again. But like I said, it's 100%. If I don't step out, it is going to be a bad or it's going to be a whatever my fear was. It's going to happen. So 100% of the time.
Yeah, there's an outcome coming that will probably match the negative self-talk. Yeah.
You just make it happen.
It is interesting. I am curious because you get a chance to work a lot with a lot of different players, and you get to experience these events that you play in competitively, where you get to see a lot of great players up close, right? I'm curious, like what do you see in the best players when it comes to their mental game skills? What do you notice? And even I'll say it this way too, like when you're at your best from a mental game perspective, like what's happening?
Speaking for myself, when I am my best rounds that I've ever had, those rounds, just where you can't hardly miss, not much thinking really at all. It is running on autopilot, but I'm in the moment. How can I say this? It's almost like I'm not even trying. Just really relaxed, not trying to force anything. It's just hit solid shots, kind of having a good time. But no technical thoughts really to speak of. It's just, have fun. And it really is. I'm maybe even more talkative. I don't talk much anyway, especially when I'm playing, pretty much a mute. But with, playing good, then maybe a little more chatty, but of course I can be chatty when I'm playing really bad too. So that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense now that I'm saying it. But if I'm playing good, just feel like I can hit some good shots. I don't try to get, overly confident, try to hit some miracle shot or something, but just hit the shots I know I can hit. It works out pretty good. But playing with, we are very fortunate in our section. Tim Graves and I are in the same section, and so we play against each other a lot. But we have some studs that we play against. They played in U.S. Opens, PGA Championships. I mean, they played against the best players in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys live in a rich environment. Yeah,
very really
talented.
So getting to play with those guys and play with them, against them, and just kind of watch them. of course, I don't really ever ask those guys, like, what are you thinking? Did you think you could play? No. You just kind of watch them, but they pretty much, it sure seems like they know that they can hit this shot. But their confidence level, there's no hesitation. They're not kind of, sorry, but just kind of half-assing it. They're committed to every shot. And one of them in particular I'm thinking of right now, I won't say his name, but he is notoriously very slow in our section. He will back off multiple times. There's actually two guys now that I'm thinking of. They will back off, and they will not ever hit a shot unless they're fully committed. Either one of those guys. And they are, one played on tour for quite a while, and the other one has played more major PGA Tour, like championship type stuff, than anyone else here in our section. Neither one of those guys will not hit a shot until they're comfortable. And I don't know I don't know where that came from. It's unless they've learned that over the years or whatever, but they don't hit until they're ready. And they are slow for that reason, but they hit a lot of good shots and they play really well all the time.
Yeah.
So watching those guys, they're still beatable, but they don't ever deviate from their game plan. If they don't feel comfortable for whatever reason, they just pull out and they start all over. So
yeah, that's interesting.
That is one thing, that just their confidence level and their dedication to not hitting until they're ready. Says a lot for them.
So it's a confidence level because they have skills, right? But it's also a commitment to the game plan and to the strategy. And what comes up for me when you talk about that, I was going to ask you about this when you were talking about the revelation coming out of 2024, and you're like, hey, I'm hitting now. I'm center or center left fairway. That's every shot for me, right? I think it was essentially your game plan. A lot of times what comes up for players is they have a game plan, but they're over a shot and they're like, yeah, I'm going to go for it here. Uh-huh. Well, that wasn't the game plan.
No.
And so there's a little piece inside of them. And I would argue this is the ego. This is the part that's wants to maybe prove something to others. It wants to be better than maybe your skills might allow in that moment, right? It's the ego talking in those moments, but it really can push us into the danger zone a lot. So I'm curious, like for your example of, staying center or center left, like, can you recall any moments where that ego was like, oh, just blow it up the right side. We got this or whatever. And how did you, and if you heard that in your self-talk, like, how do you tamp that down and say, no, strategy, game plan, stick to it?
Unfortunately, there were quite a few times where I don't know, for whatever reason, it made more sense at that time to hit, I can't think of anything right off the top of my head, but I know that happened quite a few times. Just like, it's okay. I'm going to go ahead and hit this one. I don't really, and I wouldn't be so focused. And then, well, I'll go ahead and back it up. There's 100% of the time. Didn't turn out good. No, most of those shots, a lot of the shots that went left or whatever, my targeting didn't always work out perfect either. But when I don't stick to the game plan, it doesn't work. So there were our two national championship qualifiers that we had. One was our junior for the 50 guys that are 49 and below. That's kind of our regular division. That was held at Twin Hills Country Club in Oklahoma City. Perry Maxwell design, tight fairways, every hole bends one direction or the other. Challenging greens, just a very difficult course. Does not set up real good to hit it real straight. So like tee shots. I mean, you have the ball has to move a little bit one direction or the other.
Yeah,
both ways. And then our senior club professional championship qualifier was at Southern Hills. So both of those courses, Perry Maxwell designs, just brutal tests of golf, especially Southern Hills. That's
Tulsa, right?
Yeah. They host quite a few majors up there.
Yep.
Those are two tournaments that I don't think that I deviated at all. I take that back. Gosh, I think I did. There was one tee shot at Southern Hills that I did. my line was down the left side, and I was like, oh, I'm going to favor just a little bit more down the right side. Hit it in the bunker, and then blocked out by trees. I made 7 or 8 on that hole. Just butchered it up. But that being said, still stuck with the game plan. Both of those tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
Did not hit the driver well. Again, if I can just hit it down the fair, if I can aim, because the ball doesn't move very much, if I can just aim down the middle, I hit a lot of fairways because I hit it really straight. But aiming left, center or left, I'm going to be in the rough more often. And in both of those events, did miss a lot of fairways, missed a lot of greens, but I got up and down a ton. And those were after my injuries.
Nice.
Both of those were after my injuries.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So the short game was where it needed to be because I'd worked so hard on that. But I got up and down at Southern Hills. I couldn't tell you how many times. I have to look at my scorecards, but it was almost not every hole, but I probably didn't hit 8 greens around, 6, 7 greens around, 8 greens maybe at the most. I mean, I hit it horrible for me, but got it up and down everywhere. Chipped and putted great. And that is a course that you don't get up and down very often up there. The best players in the world, they proved it. They don't get it up and down that often. But I knew those 2 tournaments were coming up right after my injuries. I knew I was going to have to play in those events and what those courses would be like. Probably not going to be able to hit it very far. If my back starts kind of hurting or something, I'm going to hit it crooked. So I better be able to wedge it really good and putt. And so those are the things I worked on, focused on leading up to those tournaments. And I did not deviate, no matter how.
Wow.
Oh gosh.
Love that.
Tempting it was to let's just go ahead. I can do this. Stick to the game plan. Chip it out. Just make your bogey and go on. Don't try to, make a par here or try to make a birdie or something like that, a miraculous shot. You've already hit one bad shot. Don't follow it up with another one. Don't screw it up.
Yeah.
Just get it back in play, get it up there close to the green, chip up, make par, and go on about your business. And wound up qualifying for both events this year, not being injured, and definitely not playing my best. So, and beat a lot of guys that probably, I know play a lot more than I do, and were probably, hitting better than I did, but just I got it in a whole lot faster than they did. So
like on paper, maybe their talent level, skill set might have, been a little higher, but that's not what we measure, right?
No,
we measure
it's just
how many strokes it takes to get into the hole.
So, I was proud on those 2 events, just knowing how hard the courses were and knowing that you better not deviate. If you deviate, you're not going to qualify. And just stick there. And like I said, that one shot right off the top of my head on par 5, little dog leg left at Southern Hills. And I wasn't sure if I'd carry the bunker. So I was like, I'll just take it down the right, down the middle of the fairway. And that put it right into another bunker that's underneath some trees. And I could have carried that bunker. But even if I would have hit it bad, but I was still just like, maybe I won't carry it. So, just uncommitted to that shot. And it cost me a lot.
There you go.
So,
good lesson. Good lesson.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that. So great. I appreciate the recap of 2025. I think there's a ton of lessons for all of us in that. What are you planning for as you think about Bandon Dunes? Like, what will your strategy look like? What are you, if you've begun to think about that, which I'm guessing you probably have, anything that you're kind of putting in your strategy and your plan for Bandon?
Sure. A lot of short game, because that's playing in multiple national championships. What it does come down to, I've only hit it good in one event. So like those 8 or 9 times I played, I've only had one tournament. So 4 rounds I've actually hit it good in. Might have one good round and then a couple bad ones or whatever. So you can still score well if you hit good wedge shots. If you can just get it around the green, because we're all going to be able to get it around the green in 1 or 2 shots or whatever. It's just, can you get it up and down a lot? So I do have to focus on that. I've heard the conditions up there. The ground's firm. I know it's going to be windy, or could be windy, which nothing for here in Oklahoma. So working on lower shot, like flighting lower shots, looking at adding a couple different clubs that'll help me
practicing
do that.
Practicing the 7-iron from 130.
Yes. Like in college, I mean, that was good grades. There were some times where we'd hit, 2-irons. Back in those days, we had 2-irons. Think of like our second hole there. It was a 2-iron maybe from 120 yards. The wind would be, it's uphill, but the wind would be blowing so hard that you just have to kind of flight something in there. You had to be very creative. Playing out in Western Oklahoma, where I went to college, because the wind really blew out there. So you had to be very creative with all the shots that you hit. Really low wedge shots. Just, you never hit anything high. Everything was just low bullets. So trying to kind of go back to that. Going to have to work with Todd a little bit. Todd helped me a few years ago. Still does. But I haven't seen him in a year. Haven't had a lesson in a year, and it shows. But originally I needed to hit the ball higher. For a couple of these tournaments I was going to, I just know, not much wind in this location. I just need to hit the ball high.
Yeah.
So he was able to help me, launch it much higher. Well, now I need his help. I need Tim's help too on hitting like head high missiles, just little quail high runners that go out there. So I've got to get some outside help that I can't do on my own. Have someone else look at me,
Makes sense.
Objectively, and just like, okay, this is how we need to hit these shots, or if we need to do this to your clubs, whatever it is. So I know I've got to flight the ball different, and then work on a lot of shots from 100, 150, 200 yards that are just actually running shots. Land them short and let them chase up, and that could be a ball change. There's nothing off the table. Like right now, I actually went back to... This is
interesting,
some clubs that are 13 years old, set of irons I've had that are 13 years old, because... Like
an old Edel set, or like
these are old TaylorMades
that
I've had in storage. I was like, I need something that goes even low. I happen to have a set because I always struggled with these because I couldn't get them off the ground. They were always so low.
Yeah.
And I've been playing with them the past couple of weeks, and they're right back to normal, just low missiles.
Oh boy!
So I'm pretty tickled already with that. They don't go. They're older, so they don't go as far as like the clubs right now. The irons doesn't seem like. The lofts aren't as strong, but they fit the flight window that I'm looking for, and that could backfire on me. Who knows? It could be dead calm up there. Conditions are soft. Who knows? But I want to be prepared either way, because I can hit it as high as I need to. Relatively.
Probably bringing 2 sets.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to take that. I don't want to go that much, because whatever I'd pick would probably be wrong.
Exactly.
But I want to
It'd be an
get
expedition.
something settled up right now, because that tournament's in April. I've got until I think probably middle of next month. So I got about basically a month to decide on what my set makeup's going to be, what clubs I'm going to take, additional clubs or whatever. But just got to finalize all that. But then start working on me mentally, and then just the shots and everything. But I want to get the right tools in my hand to make sure that doesn't hold me back either. Because
that's great.
It's a long way to travel to go up there and shoot pair of 80s or something. I want to travel that far. I do want to play well, represent our section, and
we certainly don't wish that would happen. Yeah, no question, right? I think
no one wants to play that.
Nobody does, right? We go to these epic locations, and we want to have a great experience. It'd be interesting. The whole expectation game, I think, comes into play there, right? And I think that could be an interesting thread for you to explore as you prepare. It's like, hey, where are my expectations? And could I replace that with curiosity? Hey, just show up and see what happens. One shot at a time. And it's harder to do that, but
and that's where I don't know. Might have to reach out. Might have to ask you to help me on that. Because I do know that whenever I'm really looking forward to a tournament, or really excited about something, it usually doesn't. And that's even in life. Looking forward to whatever, dinner or something. Sometimes things come up I don't know, mama's not feeling good or whatever, we don't make it to dinner. So that in golf's the same thing. I mean, it's just life.
Yeah.
Probably need to reset a little bit, maybe not be so excited or so anxious. There's got to be probably a different way to look at it, just as an opportunity or something to go play, instead of putting a lot of pressure on myself to play well. Just whatever happens, happens. I'm going to prepare, do the best I can leading up to that. But, once I get there, and I always do, once I get there, I do have fun, but there's just talking about it.
It is kind of paradoxical because yeah, exactly. I think my guess is as you talked about, like, say, for example, like those rounds in last year where you're like, oh my gosh, I played unbelievable. It was effortless. I wasn't thinking a whole lot. There's probably some things we can draw from those experiences and actually say, all right, well, there's a way to maybe bring some of that those mental and emotional dynamics, even to a place like Bandon Dunes, where we want to come home and be like, oh yeah, I shot 3 under, or whatever the expectation is. But yeah.
So I don't know whether you can answer this now, but maybe it's something to think about. There have been actually a couple of those tournaments that I played really well in, and it almost doesn't happen all the time. I will win events every once in a while, like when I really don't even want to be there. Like the night before, like Kristen will come in and she's like, what are you doing? And I'm just like, man, I don't even want to go. I don't want to drive, 2 hours. I don't really even want to go to this tournament. And she's like, well, just don't go. I'm like, well, I signed up for it. I can't no show. Committed. I've got to go.
I paid the $25.
Yeah, something like that. I've got to go play. And then I go there, I don't feel good, sore, whatever it is. And then, so it's almost like having no expectations whatsoever, not even wanting to be there. And I play great. And then, like, of course, I always call my wife after I'm finished or whatever. She's like, how'd you do? And like, take a guess. Did you win? Yes. And like, you didn't want to go.
How embarrassing.
I know. Terrible thing to have. It doesn't always happen,
exactly.
But it happens. It just seems like it happens a lot. Or just in like just general, just going out and playing. I don't want to go play. I just don't want to do anything. Don't want to go play golf today. And I go play and have a great round. And she's like, how do you, she doesn't understand it. She's not an athlete. But she doesn't not that I'm an athlete or anything, but she doesn't understand like how you could be like almost that negative or just kind of talking down like that. And then everything great happens. And I don't get it either. And whether it's just no expectations or that's why I'd have to look back, have your help and explain why. Is that true with a lot of people or?
Well, even in my book, I write about, like, I never knew this till a few years ago. Like, Jack Nicklaus used to get really amped up as a junior player. And he came to this realization, he's like 17 or 18 years old, and he figures out that if he gets wired up and amped up about a big event or, whatever, he just isn't going to play well, right? And so he, at that point in time, began working on just sort of settling and not getting himself worked up and not getting amped up for, quote unquote, the big events and not getting excited. And I've never seen either, the interview or the, the written report of exactly what he did. But I think it's clear that he worked on lowering expectations. He worked on taking each moment as it came to him and not getting too far ahead of himself. And I think strategies like those can be very, very helpful. Mo Norman talked about the alert attitude of indifference. I like to play with an alert attitude of indifference. And he's really just talking about caring a little bit less and not holding too tight to my story about what should happen on this shot, on this hole, in this round, at this event.
Okay.
And even our good buddy Tim Graves, he talks about like his best round ever, his lowest score ever came when he actually was not thinking about the round at all. And he describes the event. He was like, I forget exactly what the event was, but he was just thinking about there were some other people that he really, really wanted them to do well and to qualify and all this stuff. And he was just thinking about others and he wasn't thinking about himself at all. So yeah, I think there's a lot to that, Shannon. I agree. And I think there's some things that, we could certainly kick around that might get you closer to the whole idea of indifference. I think that's important.
Yes, sir.
Good stuff.
Yes, sir.
Well, listen, whatever happens out there, it's going to be awesome, right?
Yes, sir.
And we'll certainly be rooting for you. But
thank you.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to staying in touch. And we'll I've got to plan some trips out to Edmond and spend some time out there in the next couple of weeks. So I'll certainly be staying in touch on that. So
bring your clubs.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I will definitely bring the clubs as I like to. Exactly. But yeah, this has been great. Looking forward to hearing more about your year in 2026 now that you've recovered fully, and of course the trip to Bandon is going to be fantastic.
Yes, sir.
Looking forward to that. All right, Shannon. We'll talk soon, buddy.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
Good ball.
All right. Special thanks to Shannon Friday for that visit. I've spent a bunch of time around Shannon Friday. Super meticulous, super talented player, and he really thinks about this stuff, which is one of the reasons why he's one of the best players in his section. So a lot of great lessons here. I think we can all take away on how to prepare. I love how Shannon is really thinking about the things where, the places where he might struggle a little bit. I love how he talks about the way that doubt shows up in his swing, but he hits it anyway. And maybe for him in 2026, that's going to be an opportunity, something that he works on. I think we all have something that we can work on from a mental game perspective. So, hey, really enjoyed the conversation. Thanks again, Shannon. I want to shout out to Kevin Monahan. Thanks, Kevin, for your production behind the scenes. If you want to learn more about the work that I do, you can reach me at paulmonahan.com. You can get my book. My book is called The Most Important Game, and it's available where all fine books are sold. And remember, stay in the game. It is possible for you to play better, to struggle less, and enjoy this game you love, no matter where you're playing it, when you're playing it, or on what course you are playing it. See you soon.